My boss told me I was too poor to date his daughter, so I waited 10 years to show him his biggest mistake. I stood in the rain outside the most expensive house in the neighborhood. In my hand was a small box. Inside was a ring. It wasn't a diamond, but it was all I could afford working 2 jobs while finishing college. I loved Mia. We met in the library and she didn't care that I drove a beat-up car or wore shoes with holes in them. But her father, Mr. Sterling, cared. He was my boss at the local bank. He was a man who measured people by their bank accounts. That night, he opened the door and didn't even let me inside. He looked at my wet clothes and laughed. "Jake, look at this house," he said. "Mia belongs in a palace. You can barely afford a bus ticket. Stay away from my daughter. You are a nothing and you will always be a nothing." Mia was crying in the background, but she didn't come to the door. I left the box on the porch and walked away. My heart didn't just break, it turned into stone. I left town the next day. I didn't call, I didn't text. I moved to New York and started a small tech company in a tiny apartment. I ate ramen for 3 years. I worked 20 hours a day. I remembered the way Mr. Sterling looked at my shoes. Every time I wanted to quit, I saw his face. 10 years passed. My company became a global success. I was no longer the boy in the rain. I was a man who flew in private jets. But I never forgot my hometown. I heard Mr. Sterling's bank was failing. He had made bad bets. He was losing everything. I flew back. I didn't go to his house. I went to the bank I used to clean floors for. I sat in the big office at the top. Mr. Sterling walked in. He looked old. He looked tired. He didn't recognize me at first. "Mr. Sterling," I said, spinning my chair around. "I heard you're looking for a buyer to save your legacy." He sat down, his hands shaking. "The debt is too high. No one will touch us. We lose the house, the cars, everything, unless someone buys us out today." I pushed a contract across the table. "I'll buy it, every cent. But there is one condition." He looked at the signature line. His eyes went wide. "Jake? From the mailroom?" "The nothing from the mailroom," I corrected him. "What is the condition?" he whispered. "I want you to tell Mia I'm here." He looked down at the floor, a tear hitting the mahogany desk. "Jake, Mia isn't here. After you left, I forced her to marry a wealthy partner of mine to save my business back then. It was a loveless marriage. She passed away in a car accident 3 years ago. She died miserable, Jake, because of me." The room went cold. The victory I had chased for 10 years tasted like ash in my mouth. I had built an empire to prove a point to a man who had already destroyed the only thing that actually mattered. I signed the papers and handed him the pen. I saved his house. I saved his reputation. But as I walked out, I realized I was still that boy standing in the rain. I had all the money in the world, but I couldn't buy back the 10 years I spent trying to be something for a man who deserved nothing. Success is the best revenge, but sometimes the cost of that revenge is your soul.